Good morning and welcome to game number 2 of the road trip. Gorman with a frustrating loss last night, 4-2 against Santa Margarita. This will be the last road trip of the regular season. And then after that, we'll be heading into playoffs. All teams making playoffs, as well as one D2 team moving up to finish out and even out the board. And we've been notified by CIH that they will be broadcasting all of the playoff games. So as a heads up, this game here and the game this afternoon, 4:30 p.m. against Pacific Ridge, will most likely be the last broadcast of the Anaheim games for the season, and most likely ever. Looking ahead next week, Nevada State Championship games. Wanted to double check there. Yeah, state championship game between the D1 Gales and the D2 Crusaders will take place next weekend. Games Friday, Saturday. Those games will be broadcast here, and by all accounts, those will be the last 2 games for this channel. Appreciate everybody watching over the, 3 years. And it's been a pleasure. Nevada State Championship will be best of 3. The game Friday at City National Arena. Game 2 at LVIC. Game 3, I believe, is still listed as TBD if needed, and not quite sure where they'll play it. Gorman in white. Orange Lutheran in black and red. Olu and Gorman. Olu with a really short bench here. 12 to 13 skaters only. Faircloth in net last night. Expect Laskoska to be in net this morning. right, getting ready to kick off the game here at Anaheim Ice. Game later today will be back at Great Park Ice and 5 Point Arena. I believe this was the training facility for the NHL Anaheim Ducks till I think it was late 2019-ish, before they moved over to the new Great Park Ice facility. Probably one of my favorite barns to play in because of the architecture here. Other than it is ice cold in here today. All right, getting ready to kick off the game. Starting lineup for Gorman, Creel, Jennings, Larison, Godino, and Evan Davis. Orange Lutheran wins the face-off into their zone. Stretch pass deflected up, still in play. And we have a penalty coming up. Roughing is the call. Number 22. Gorman getting an early power play here. Lifted up high into the face of Evan Davis. And Gorman sounds out the power play unit. Jennings, Godino, Creel, Fish, and Baldy. And not sure what we're doing here. Looks like equipment issue for Fish. Westwood will take his place. Westwood in for the puck drop. Comes out in favor of Olu. Chips it, kept in play by Baldy. Feeds it back down low, tipped out front, scooped up in the crease, sent around the boards. And Gorman couldn't close that one off. Baldy on the back check. Olu on the forward check. Baldy picks it up in the near corner. Feeds it back to Godino, back behind the net. Godino brings it out the far side, chips it out to Westwood. Westwood through the neutral zone. Walks it in. Back behind the net. Takes a huge hit, center on the board. Bad bounce. At the face-off dot, scooped up. Olu picks it up, chips it across. And Gorman will reload back at their blue line. Baldy out far to Godino. Godino to miscommunication there. Baldy chips it out to Jennings. Back to Baldy. Another bad bounce off the boards, and Olu's going to pick that up in the neutral zone. Turned over to Creel. Creel through the neutral zone. Sends it down low, scooped up by Olu at the hash marks. 45 seconds remaining. Off the ref in the neutral zone. Godino walks it in, dishes it out. No one there for Gorman, and Olu picks up the loose puck at the blue line. 2-on-2 the other way. In the slot, shot loose and saved. Covered by Laskoska. With 30 seconds left on the Gorman power play. As the next unit comes out. Klaus, Larison, Davis, Fitzy, and Kerr. Davis in for the face-off. And the Gorman D zone. still on the power play. Olu picks that one up at the feet. Dumped down low. Davis comes in. Olu maintains possession, battling at the goal line. Larison brings it out front through the hash marks. Makes the zone out wide. Takes a hit back behind the goal line. Cycle back the other way. Klaus gets there. Feeds it back down low to Larison. Larison's got Davis out front. Feeds it out. Fitz. Chips it. Davis picks it up at the goal line. Back up to Klaus. Back to Davis. And missing a defenseman down there at the point where it was expected. And Gorman will have to regroup back in their zone. Turned over out front. Davis with a stick lift. Olu opts to send it back down the other way. Power play unit still on the ice. Klaus trying to dig it out. Chipped out. Still in the zone. Shot up and over the net. Comes out to Fitzy on the far side. Fitzy sends it across to Klaus. Chips it. And that will be an icing. .54 on the clock in the first period. Tie game 0-0. And not sure what's going on now. Fish is heading to the box after just hopping on the ice. And Gorman is going to go on the penalty kill here. Fish left to the locker room, grabbed his gear, came back out. They put him in the box. And Gorman's on the PK now. I guess we're playing 5-on-5. I'm not sure what's happening. California hockey. Olu wins the faceoff, sends it around the boards. Posner gets there for Gorman, out to Godino in the corner, chips it out. Picked up by Olu, another bad bounce off the boards. Shot goes wide. Luong out to Tritton, clears, takes a hit in the process. Blue line pass, tipped by Cash Johnson. Johnson takes the puck off the stick. Godino forces pass out, comes out to the blue line, and Olu brings it to the neutral zone. Makes it. Luong sends it off the glass, and that will have enough for an icing. And spare you the pan to the right. Looks like Fish has a equipment violation, misconduct, 10 minutes. Jennings in for the faceoff. Gorman wins that one. Chipped out. Godino couldn't field that one cleanly. Pass along the blue line. No one there for Olu. And they'll regroup back at the hash mark. Almost stuffed by Gorman. Jennings almost picks that one off. 2-on-2 the other way. Fed back through by Rubino. Couldn't clear. Baldy sends it out. Tipped by Creel. No icing. Puck comes out to Rubino. Rubino walks it up. Out front, shot. Save by Olu goaltender. Fed back down low by Rubino. Creel battling in the corner. Picked up by Godino. That's Baldy. Backhand shot. Save by the goaltender off the pads. Jennings dangling through. Out to Godino. Godino feeds back through the slot. Loose. Baldy shot. Loose out front. Jennings backhand shot short side. And goaltender will hold on to that one with 11:54 remaining in the first. Conversations happening here, center ice. Captains with refs here, ref over at the Gorman bench. And it looks like Baldy's heading to the bench. Sorry, to the box. Like Baldy go ahead to the box on sportsmanlike conduct. PK coming up for Gorman. Creel, Godino, Larison, and Evan Davis. Creel in for the faceoff. Gorman wins it, chips it, glove down, still in the zone. Larison at the goal line. Sends it, and Creel works down low. Olu picks it up at their goal line, brings it out along the other side, turned over by Godino. Godino tries chipping it down, picked up by Olu. Bringing his own Larison on the press. Godino closed that one off, comes out to Larison through the neutral zone. Opposite winded down. Fitzy, Posner, Westwood on, as well as Larison. Pass through the legs, deflected wide by Laskoska. Shot, pad save, goes wide. 58 seconds left on the Gorman PK. Shot, tipped out front, sent wide at the faceoff dot, follow-up shot. Goal. Olu takes a lead with a power play goal. 10:45 remaining in the first. Gorman wins the face-off. Rubino chips it across, picked up by Olu. Gorman gets tied up. And Olu winds it around the boards. Fitzy out to Klaus. Klaus couldn't clear, comes out to Rubino on the far side, shovels it across. Fitzy through the neutral zone. Regains possession, shot, short side, and goaltender holds on to that one. Gorman looking for a loose puck. And Players find dance partners. 10-15. Face off in the D zone. Shot goes wide. Huge hit by Klaus. Klaus gloves it down. Shot off the body. Comes out wide. Fed back down low by Luong. Picked up by Fitzy. Trying to hit Klaus. Kerr comes in and forces a pass around the boards. Rubino chips out and across. Olu couldn't clear on the breakout. Luong closes that one off on the near boards. Pass picked up. Skoska comes out and chips it across. Still in the zone. Kerr. Rubino out to Klaus. And Olu wires it back the other way. It comes loose. Olu chips it across. Couldn't clear. Pass breaks out to Davis. Davis tried to hit Westwood. Picked off and wired back the other way. Pass glove down. Davis goes in, gives a hit. Luong out to Rubino. Through the neutral zone, makes the zone. Mesa working along the far board. Mesa wires it back down to Westwood. Westwood out to Rubino. Chipped out to Mesa. Couldn't get a shot off. Comes near boards. Davis picks it up. Shot. Loose out front. Goes wide off the pad. Westwood up front to tip that one. Bouncing puck out to Larison. Larison makes the zone. Walks it up through the crease. And Westwood on the back check. Chips it out. Evan Davis wires it in off a skate at the blue line. Davis with the stick lift. Comes out to Larison. Larison trying to clear. Couldn't make the zone. Couldn't clear. The Gorman does. Chip back out to Jennings. Jennings walks through. Shot. Short side glove. Off the glove. Still in play. Westwood shot. Loops up front. Follow-up shot goes wide off the pad. Jennings tries centering in. It comes out the other way. Not enough for an icing. Evan Davis by himself on the back check. Davis wires it around the boards. Jennings chips it up to Larison. Long shift for Larison as Godino lobs it opposite corner. Creel on the forecheck. Forces a pass back behind the net. Cycle back the other way. Bad bounce loose out front. Creel couldn't stuff it on the short side. Baldy keeps it in the zone. Sends it around. Another bad bounce off the boards. Shot short side. Loose out front. Gorman trying to stuff it loose. Fed through the crease. No one there. And 2-on-2 the other way. Rubino forces him to dump it down low. Shot. Bouncing puck. Rudino sends it off the boards and clears to the neutral zone. Creel on the forecheck. Rudino couldn't get the pass, break it out, turned it over by Olu, and at the hash marks, Godino battling through. Creel sends it out to Kerr. Kerr winds it in off a glove. Comes back in. Tritton picks that off at the blue line and chips it down low. Tritton on the forecheck. Puck out along the far side. Kerr comes in, gives a hit. Olu tries the near wall. Posner closes that one off. Johnson wires it back around the other way. Gorman trying to pin him in their zone. Kerr comes in. Davis out. Colin Davis, and that will be an icing. 6:11 remaining. Gorman trying to wind down Olu with a short bench. Davis, Fitzy, Klaus, Luong, and Posner. Colin Davis in for the face-off in the Olu D zone. Davis wins it back. Shot. Posner loops through the crease. Fitzy there for Gorman in the near quarter center around the board to Luong. Shot off the glove. Maintains possession at the blue line. He's going to regroup with Posey. Out to Klaus. Klaus out to Fitzy trying to bring it in. They do. Gorman needs to tag up. Olu tries the near side, gets stuff there, sends it around the boards and deep into Gorman territory. Long there for Gorman. Pass out to Pazzi, near wall, chips it off out to Davis. Davis chips it in. Klaus on the forecheck, bounce for position. Davis on the far side, sends it through right, just left of the post. Fitzy and Klaus working in the corner. Puck comes out. Larison closes that one off. Olu scoots around. Davis on the back check. Stiff lift. And sends it back the other way. Olu regroups at the blue line. Tipped by Davis. Davis winds it in. As Westwood and Mesa go on the forecheck. Puck squeaks by. Larison couldn't close that one off. Baldy by himself. Chips it off the boards out to Westwood. Tips it. Comes out to Larison. Sends it around the boards, almost hits the ref. Jennings to Mesa. Mesa forces a pass out wide. Sent back down low, cycled down. Westwood in the corner. Couldn't get the pass off, and Larison scoops that one up in the neutral zone. Boys will have to tag up, wires it in, and Gorman goes back on the forecheck. 4:18 remaining. In the first period, Gorman trailing by 1. Jennings picking off the puck. Larison made his way to the bench, long shift. Shot, loose out front, picked up by Westwood. That out to Jennings, just wide. And Gorman will regroup as Olu squeezes in a change. Rubino along the near wall. Sends it in, tipped, and Kerr goes on the forecheck. Favorable bounce for Olu. Off a body, cross-ice pass. Rubino working in the corner. Player on his knees. Comes out. Westwood chips it across. Kerr lobs it in. Olu comes away with it at the goal line. And that won't have enough on it for an icing. Posner will pick it up at the Gorman goal line. Olu able to poke that one away, keep it in play. Back out to Luong. Luong, Creel. Creel chips it in, goes on the forecheck. And Olu sends it out, no icing. Klaus there takes a hit in the corner. Back up, working in the corner with Luong. Godino picks that one off, chips it off the glass, and that will have enough for no icing. They're waving this one off as well. Olu sends it around the boards, near side. Tritton comes in to close it off. Olu able to come across and send it into Gorman's D zone. Evan Davis working back behind the goal line. Olu working in the corner. Larison gives a hit through the crease. Looks like some players got connected at the helmets outside the Gorman crease. Evan Davis out to Larison. Larison chips it across to Tritton. Tritton sends it down low. Johnson on the forecheck with Tritton. Larison picks that one off at the goal line, keeps it in play, and Olu opts to dump it down, comes out to Davis. Davis gives a hit center ice, tripped up. Olu brings it back the other way, and I'm pretty sure they're going to call offsides. Player that was hit threw his leg out to trip. 1:41 remaining in the first. Face-off coming up in the neutral zone. Outside Gorman's territory. Davis wins it back out. Baldy. Johnson and Fitzy on the wings. Buck sent off the glass. Olu chips it, comes out to Davis. Davis feeds it out through. Comes off the wall. Davis trying to keep it down low. Rubino sends it back behind the goal line. Fitzy there for Gorman. Poked off his stick. Cass Johnson comes in to support. Baldy sends it shot, Johnson, and loose puck, but they blew the whistle as Johnson and Davis were posted out front. And Gorman will send out a new group of forwards as apparently Fitzier is going to the box. Looks like we're staying 5-5. I really don't know if the refs are communicating this well enough of what their intent is. We just had a buzzer go off. All right, Fitzy heads to the box. I believe it was a misconduct. Still 5-on-5 hockey. Puck comes out to Mesa, back behind the goal line. Mesa battling through into the corner. He's got Westwood at the faceoff dot. Opts to send it back down low. Puck clears, chipped in. Gorman will have to tag up. Unsportsmanlike conduct is the call. Will be 10 minutes there. Fish clears the equipment penalty. Puck sent around the boards. Mesa chips it off the glass, off the body, didn't clear. Mesa in the corner, chips it around, back behind the goal line. Olu there to pick it up. Sends it back out to the point. Back down low at the hash marks. Puck comes out wide to the near wall. Fish chips it, tipped by Westwood. Westwood walks it up, shot. Glove save. 13 seconds left in the first. Jennings in for the faceoff. Creel and Bedino as well. Pass picked up at Olu, by Olu in the slot. And they'll slowly call an icing with under a second left. They're going to put a full second on the board. And that'll wrap it up for the first period. Gorman trailing by 1. Shots on goal, 13-7 in favor of the Gales as we head into the second period. Working out the second period. Gorman wins that one. Lineup, Tritton, Fish, Johnson, Evan Davis, and Larison. Cross pass through the crease. Gorman couldn't capitalize on that one. Larison keeps it in play. High in the slot. Tritton, shot stuffed. Comes out to Davis. Shot goes wide of the net. Just left of the net. Shot through the crease. No one there. Evan Davis brings it back down low. Trying to get another shot off. Olu comes around the other way. Couldn't get a clean pass off. Stuffed by Larison. Forces it back down in their zone. Larison working down low in Olu territory. Pass off the glass. That will be an icing. Face-off coming up in Olu D zone. Rubino, Baldy, Colin Davis, Mesa, and Westwood. Davison for the puck drop. Davis wins it back to the blue line. Baldy shot. And goalie able to swallow that one up. Davis wins that one to Mesa. Mesa shot off a body, loose out front. Loose at the feet. Westwood couldn't get a shot off and kept in play by Baldy. Chipped down low. Davis working in front of the net. Westwood feeds it. Couldn't connect through the crease, and Gorman have to regroup. Rubino in the neutral zone. Out to Baldy. Center on the boards. Westwood sends it, trying to hit Davis. Davis gets the clear with assistance from Mesa. Mesa goes in the forecheck on the other side. Couldn't send it down low. Baldy has it taken off a stick. One-on-one the other way. Rubino forcing him out wide. Forces the puck back behind the goal line. Westwood comes in to support. Rubino has the stick lifted, maintains possession through the neutral zone. Olu picks that up at the hash marks. Out along the far side. Godino closes that one off. Off the post. And they clear. Baldy will regroup back at the blue line. Sends it out. Rubino chips it off the glass. Down low. Godino's got Creel out front. Brings it back behind the net instead. Pass broken up. It was loose out front. Pauser pinches in. Olu has an opportunity the other way. Luong closes that one off the skate of Luong. On the far corner, chipped out, couldn't clear. Godino sends it out to Creel, chips it across to Jennings. Olu picks it up at the faceoff dot. Jennings working back behind the goal line, loose. Olu tries to clear, tipped down by Godino, trying to send it back down to Jennings. Creel tied up. And puck comes free, picked up by Luong. Back out to Posner. Gorman working in their D zone. Olu trying to keep it pinned in. Luong digs that one out, chips it out to Creel. Creel makes it and sends it into Olu's D zone. Stays on the forecheck as Gorman squeezes in a change. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Larison to Fish. Turned over. Larison pokes that one wide. Chips it off the glass over the head of the forward. Lutheran. A lot of battling in the neutral zone in this game as Olu sends around the boards. Evan Davis there for Gorman. No icing on this one. Klaus on the far wall. Sends it out to Fish. Bouncing puck, couldn't connect. Wired back the other way, out to Larison. Larison sends it to Fish. Gets tipped up into the Gorman bench. face off in the neutral zone. Center ice. Johnson, Davis, Tritton, Evan Davis, and Larison. Davison for the face-off. Olu comes away with that one. Larison wires it in, dodges a hit. Tritton on the forecheck, chips it out, comes out just out of reach of Colin Davis. And Olu brings it back the other way. Baldy forces him out wide. Cash Johnson working on the far wall. Davis stuffs that one. Loose out front. Goal. Olu takes a 2-goal lead. Heavy traffic right out front the crease. Gorman unable to clear. As they squeeze one by Laskoska. Mesa, Jennings, Westwood, Rubino, and Baldy. Puck comes out to Rubino. Rubino chips it up. Jennings couldn't connect there. And Olu chips it off the boards the other way. A little too much on it. That should be an icing, and it is. 12 minutes remaining in the second. There will be an ice cut between the second and third. Jennings in for the face-off. Comes out in favor of Gorman. Westwood dangling through. Cleared. Still in play by Jennings. Jennings trying to send it down low. Comes away with it. Got Westwood in the slot. Brings it out along the goal line. In the middle. Backhand off a body. Baldy closes that one off. Westwood there to support along the near corner. Olu feeds it back out to the point. Shot loose out front. And Olu able to pick up the loose puck. Skaska conversation with the ref. Argument here that there was some interference with the goalie, interfering with his stick. Misconduct for Gorman. Take Mesa in the box to serve. 10-minute misconduct for the goaltender for Gorman. Loose out front shot. Loose in the crease. On top of the net. Olu brings it out, chips it off the boards, far side, opportunity out front, shot, save, Laskoska. Face-off coming up in Gorman D zone. Still 5-on-5, Godino, Creel, and they're gonna blow that one dead. On the Olu side. Godino, Evan Davis, Creel, Fish, and Larson. Olu wins it back, shot off a body, goes wide to the far wall. No one can track that one. Closed off by Olu. Fish trying to get the clear, comes out to Godino. Olu picks that one up at the goal line, sorry, the blue line. Godino forces them to regroup. Sent off, that should be an icing, and it is. Face off in Olu's D zone. Kerr, Johnson, Klaus. Kerr in for the face off, comes out to Johnson. Back behind the goal line, feeds it through. Shot short side by Kerr. Denied off the pad. Kept in play by Larson. Larson feeds it back out. Luke's out front. Larson with a shot goes up and over. Johnson in the far corner. Dodges a hit. Feeds it back out to Davis. Out to Kerr in the slot. Shot off the pads. And out of play. Sorry, off the blocker. Same lineup for Gorman. Kerr in for the face-off. Chipped across through the neutral zone. Davis there for Gorman. Chips it off the other way, out of reach. Kerr is able to get there for Gorman. Feeds it across, and Evan Davis will send it down low. Olu picks it up in the corner and brings it out through the neutral zone, near wall. Larson scoops that one up. Cycles back, near side. Feeds it up to Klaus. Klaus makes his own shot off a skate. Kerr sends it on net, and that was brushed aside by the goaltender. Olu makes his own, takes a shot, goes wide, comes out. Rubino trying to clear it out to Klaus. Klaus opts to lob it through. Godino working, gets there. He's got Davis in, and the second forward shot goes up and over. Out to Davis along the near boards, chips it out to Godino down low. Puck squeaks through, not enough for an icing. Baldy will grab that back behind Gorman net. Pass. Ends up breaking the stick of an Olu player. Rubino lobs it just right of the net. Olu along the near wall, sends it across, out of reach of Baldy. No icing. Rubino gets it for Gorman. Shot off the blocker. Rubino working in the corner. Has an opportunity. He's got Creel in motion. Feeds it through. Picked off on its way to Creel. Creel ties it up. Brings it out to Rubino. Rubino's got Godino. Creel shot off a body. Pass out to the near wall. Couldn't connect. Back checking Baldy. Chips that one out. Comes out to Rubino. Out to Davis. Davis chips it. That one had a little too much. And Fitzy makes his way out of the box. And Gorman of a face-off in their D zone. 7:39 remaining in the second. Gorman trailing 3-0. Shots on goal, 22-14 in favor of the Gales. Puck comes out to Westwood off the face-off and Fish. He's got Jennings with him. Chips out to Jennings just out of reach. Jennings back behind the goal line, takes a hit. Westwood comes away with it through the crease, couldn't connect. Out of reach of Long at the blue line. Posner feeds it out to Jennings. Olu keeps it in the zone. Olu feeds it through. Gorman couldn't recover. Bouncing puck off the pads. Brought wide by Fish. Fish couldn't get the clear. Comes out to Westwood along the goal line. Westwood's got a man on him. Westwood brings it out wide, right up front. Shot off the pads. Olu brings it back the other way. Evan Davis forces them to pass out wide. He goes way back behind. Goaltender comes out to field that one, sends it around the boards on the far side, out to Long. Long trying to send along the goal line. Picked up by Jennings, back out to Luong. Fish, shot, loose out front, one-timer. Shot loose. Shot coming from Westwood. Jennings still battling. Closed off by Fish. Olu through the neutral zone. Comes out to Kerr, near corner, far side, picked off. Larson sends around the boards. Westwood's got a little room to work. Chips it up to himself, gets tied up, and Olu sends it back the other way. Larson, blue line pass, Evan Davis, out to Kerr, couldn't connect, no icing. Kerr gives a hit at the pass. Tritton feeds it out. Johnson wires it down low. Tritton in the far corner, tries to close that one off. Olu looking to bring it down along the near side. Pass comes out, Rubino picks that one off, chips it out to Tritton. Tritton sends it down low again. Fish on the forecheck. Tritton comes into support, through the crease. Baldy in at the blue line with Rubino. Baldy picks that one off. Olu makes it into Gorman territory. Shot off the blocker, still in play. Puck comes down low, Gorman zone. Rubino flicks it up, trying to connect to Tritton. Comes back to Rubino. Rubino's got a little room to work through the neutral zone. Dingles through, shot short side. Sent wide by the goaltender. And Olu will send that one down for an icing. 4:15 remaining in the second. Shots on goal, 25-15 in favor of the Gales. Olu leading 3-0. Comes out, Luong winds up off the pads, loose out front, follow-up shot denied. Creel trying to backhand that one in. Godino and Fish, the other forwards. Olu picks that one up. Creel on the back check. breaks it up. Olu picks it up in the neutral zone, brings it in. Posner brushes him off the puck. Olu regains possession, feeds it back out to the point. Back down low. Luong disrupts. Out to Godino. Godino trying to hit. Creel in motion, deflected wide. Back out to Posner. Posner sends it down low. Gorman has to tag up, not, and they're going to call that. Let's say they called offsides. Or maybe it went off a glove. Face off center ice. Kerr, Fitzy, Klaus. Klaus, shot goes left of the net. Sent around the boards. Evan Davis tries to close that one off. Holds position. Squeaks by. And his D partner, Larison, will chip it off the boards the other way. Out to Klaus. Klaus feeds it back down low. Fitzy trying to hit the blue line. He does. Larison shot through the crease. Left of the net. Davis feeds it back down low. Evan Davis. Klaus trying to get a shot off, gets tied up. Stretch pass picked off by Larison. Larison walks it in. He's got a little room. Shot just right of the net. Closed off by Klaus at the feet. A high hit on Fitzy. Not called. Puck comes out, no icing on this one. Rubino back behind the goal line. Out to Larison. Larison chips it across. Back out to Larison. Out to Fitzy near wall. Dangles through. Shot and save. Face-off coming up in Olu's D zone. Davis Westwood. Johnson comes out to Westwood. Couldn't get a shot off down low outside the crease. Westwood in the corner. Feeds Davis. Bouncing puck. Couldn't get a shot off. Feeds it back out to the point. Baldy walks it. Sends it. Tipped by Davis. By Johnson. Johnson takes a hit under the helmet. Davis shot. Off the goalie's gear. Westwood shot short side. Comes out. Davis gives it. And hand pass is the call. Johnson took a stick up under the helmet. Seems to be good. Davis into the face-off. Olu wins that one. Rubino looks to close that one off. Olu regains possession. Pass the other way. Couldn't handle it. Baldy chips it off the boards the other way. Johnson near side. Sends it out to Davis. Davis has got a man on him. Sends it down low. Picked up at the hash marks. Johnson comes in. Breaks it up. Bouncing puck back behind the net. Olu trying to bring it around the near side. Closed off. Davis gives a huge hit. Picked up by Rubino, center ice. And sends out to Baldy on the far side. Baldy looking to wire it in off a body. Clears the zone. Davis dingles through. Out to Westwood. Westwood leaves it for Godino. Godino back behind the net. Short side through the crease. Couldn't connect. Pass out to Fish. And Olu able to clear. Luong sends it out to the far wall. Pass comes out the other way. Rubino trying to chip it through. And Olu wires it around the boards. Stretch pass. Westwood gets pressed off the puck. Comes out to Fish. Near wall. Godino keeps it in the zone. Godino back behind the goal line. Through the goal line. Right outside the crease, and the goaltender able to grab that one. Sent it through the crease. My apologies. Looked like he was going hard behind the net and fed it right through, trying to draw the goalie the other side. 12.1 seconds remaining. They're letting the clock run a little longer than I do based on the whistle. Klaus in for the face-off. Loose. And bouncing puck. Creel feeds it back down low. Picked up at the hash marks. Godino on the forecheck. And that'll wrap up the second. kicking out the second period. Sorry, third period. And Gorman wins that one back. Gorman on the power play. And Olu picks that one up at their blue line, sends it back. Laskoska there to field it. And power play did not carry through. We'll get that corrected here in a little bit. Jennings brings it back behind the goal line. Power play from the scuffle at the end where the Olu player came across to the Gorman players heading to the locker room. Godino through the neutral zone. Out wide. Jennings trying to stuff it short side. Comes out to Klaus. Klaus shot. Tipped up and gloved by the goaltender Creel out front. .58 seconds left on the Gorman power play. Kerr, Davis, Westwood, Larison, and Fitzy. Get the clock corrected here in a little bit. 15:58 remaining in the third. Comes out in favor of Olu, sends it around the board. Fitzy there for Gorman, picks it up, brings it back down low. Westwood sends it to Larison. Couldn't grab that before the blue line. Gorman pushed back into the neutral zone. And that'll be an icing. Clock corrected. 38 seconds left on the Gorman power play. Colin Davison for the faceoff. Olu picks that one up. Sends it back around. Olu closed off. Yep, recover back at the hash marks. Davis through the neutral zone. Picks it up, back behind the net. Out to Fitzy. Fitzy couldn't field that one and push back in the neutral zone. Regroup. Center ice. Westwood makes the zone. Chips it out to Kerr. Couldn't connect. Olu working down low. Sends it in. Stays strong on the forecheck. Chips across. Davis breaks that one up. Pass comes out to Davis. Davis to Westwood. Westwood shot. Set aside off the pads. Westwood tripped up. Another penalty coming up for Gorman after 5-on-5. And Olu will head back to the penalty box. Tripping will be the call. Number 17 for Olu. Give Gorman the second power play of the third. Godino, Jennings, Creel, Baldy, and Klaus. Comes out to Baldy. Baldy feeds Klaus. Couldn't get the shot off at the face-off circle. Feeds it through to Creel. Gets tipped and chipped out the other way. Laskoska going to cover that one. For a D-zone face-off for Gorman. Shot off the face-off, goes through the crease. Jennings sends that around. Baldy drops it back to Godino. Jennings on the far side. Takes a hit, brushes off a hit. Out into the far corner. Jennings regains possession. pinned along the near boards. Baldy keeps it in play, walks it up, chips it out. Creel couldn't field that one, and Olu picks it up. He's got a man on the breakaway. No icing as they are on the penalty kill. Broken up by Godino. Godino sends it out of reach of Baldy, and that will be an icing. Next unit out, Kerr, Colin Davis, Fitzy, Westwood. Puck comes out. Olu picks that one up, chips it back behind Gorman net. Westwood back at the goal line. Out to Fitzy on the far side. Comes out to Davis. Davis chips it out to Kerr. Couldn't grab that one. Davis comes in looking to close it off. Out to Larison. Larison feeds it out to Westwood. Fitzy, far side, makes his own, couldn't maintain possession, and it bounces back the other way on a clear. Pass out to Westwood, near wall, sends it out to Davis, far side. Davis gets tied up, sends it around, back to 5-on-5, puck loose at the goal line, and that should be and is an icing. 12:25 remaining in the third. Gorman trailing by 3, shots on goal, 30-15. Kerr, Johnson, Tritton, Larison, and Evan Davis. Olu comes away with the puck off the face-off, brings it in, closed off, picked off by Larison. Larison battling through the neutral zone, lobs it down low, goes on the forecheck. Buck pounces behind the net. Larison tripped up, no call. Comes out to Johnson. Johnson shot off the shins and goes wide. And another penalty for Gorman. Tritton will head to the box as Gorman goes on the PK. Baldy, Creel, Rubino, and Godino. Olu wins the face-off, maintains possession, chipped, unable to clear by Creel. Godino comes in to support, picked up by Baldy, wires it, kept in the neutral zone. Olu looks to regroup, reloads, brings it in, back up at the point, forced wide. Creel gets a stick on that shot. Olu regains possession, brings it in, it's get picked up by Baldy. Clearing attempt denied, shot off the glove and into the netting. Fitzy, Kerr, Posner, and Luong in for the next PK unit. Fitzy in for the face-off. Olu wins that one back. Walks back out to the point. Far wall. Long closes that one off. Olu regains possession. Drops back out to the point. Curve forces him to cycle around. Back down to the face-off dot. High in the slot. Shot off a body, loose. Long shovels it. and clears. Pass picked off by Kerr, chips it off the boards. Out to Fitz. Fitzy's one-on-one shot off the blocker. Fish and Mesa in at forward. Larison and Evan Davis at defense. Fish gives a hit, breaks that one up, chipped, picked up by Olu as they bring it out through the center. Fish brings it on the far side, makes the zone. It's going to take his time. 5 seconds left on the PK. Mesa battles through, Gorman back to full strength. Olu looking to bring it out on the far side. Closed off by Fish. Feeds it back out to Evan Davis. Shot, Tritton off a skate. Fish feeds it down at the hash marks. Olu tries the far side. Near side. Larison breaks that one up. Tritton, fresh out of the box, brings it in the zone. Takes a hit. Mesa working along the far wall. Olu clears. And that will be an icing. Kerr in for the faceoff, wins it back to Fitzy. Klaus tips it to himself, shot. Off the blocker, goes out into the far corner. Kerr tries to get there, breaks it up, shot. Fitzy goes wide. Along the near wall. And Olu chips it down low, no icing, apparently. Klaus looking to clear, stuff to the point, shot. Comes out. Front, picked up by Baldy. Chips it out to Klaus, clears the zone. And Olu looks to lob it in. Far corner. Rubino. Unable to clear, comes out high in the slot, shot off a body. Blue line pass, makes his way into the neutral zone. Olu tries to get it down deep and they can't. And we'll need to regroup at their own blue line. Send it around the boards, bounces off the back of the net. Olu cycles back behind the goal line. High in the point, shot goes wide. Olu brings it back behind their net, sends it through, picked up by Godino, chips it out, Jennings. Jennings sends it in. Creel goes on the forecheck and dropped by the goaltender. Creel comes in. Sent out to the far side. And we have apparently another penalty here. Like the penalty will be on Godino for roughing. Did not see that. I believe Creel got speared though. He was explaining to the referee how it was missed. Creel will make his way Creel was speared back behind the play and made mention of to the refs, and he is now in the box for bringing it to their attention. Conversation at the Gorman bench over the missed spear. And looks like Tritton will join him. Gorman with 3 players in the box. Now they're calling hooking. I'm waiting for the feed update on the website here with how they're calling this. Godino in the box for hooking. Tritton is in for roughing. Cash is Creel. Looks like they're updating now. Five on 3. Olu sends it out. Back to the point. Jennings, Larson, Evan Davis. Top of the circle, down low. Shot goes wide off the glove of Laskoska. Larson almost gets the clear on that one. Comes out to Jennings, and Jennings wires it around. Fish, Baldy, and Larson. Ola brings it through the neutral zone. Fish dives, deflects that one, complete to miss the pass. Out to the near wall. High in the slot shot. Loose out front. And blown dead. Another conversation at the Gorman bench with the referees. Creel in for 10 for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's what they ended up calling it. Olu wins the face-off back to the blue line. Westwood, Baldy, and Rubino. Blue line pass, back down low, near side. High in the slot, down low, far side. Shot off the pads, another shot, deflected, save Laskoska. Rubino picks that one up, chips it, and Westwood goes on the forecheck. Westwood gives a hit, open ice. Shot Save as Godino and Tritton back on the ice. And Gorman is back to full strength. Luong, Colin Davis, Posner, Johnson, and Mesa. D-zone face-off. Colin Davis in for the puck drop. Davis wins that one back. Out to Luong. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Mesa back at D. Davis on the forecheck. Couldn't get there in time. And Olu brings it back the other way. Kept in play by Mesa. Or sorry, by Posner. Chip down low. Johnson working at the goal line. Davis comes in to support. Luong walks it up. That's feed to Davis and Luong. Chipped out, kept in by Mesa. Pass out to Posner. Posner with a follow-up shot. Tipped by Johnson. Goes off the pads into the far corner. Sent around the boards. Posner closes that one off. Walks it up. Goal line. He's got Johnson with him. Colin Davis posted out front in the slot. Chipped it back to Johnson. Johnson to Davis. Couldn't connect with all the traffic. And Mesa going to have to regroup in the neutral zone. Spins around near side. Sends it down low. Gorman's going to go on the forecheck. Johnson there first for Gorman. Chip backed up. Takes a hit in the corner. Davis there to support. .355 remaining. Olu comes away with it. Back behind the net. Fitzy gives a hit at the blue line. Davis comes in with a hit. And Davis with, looks like, head contact, misconduct, and will head to the locker room. And looks like that will be served by Tritton. Fitzy forcing them to stay down low. Jennings comes in to support. Pass back behind the net. Olu brings it out on the far side. Couldn't connect. Regain possession in the neutral zone. Jennings breaks it up. Olu opts to chip it back behind the boards. Fitzy pokes it into the near corner. Olu chips it back up high. Down low, face-off dot. Shot short side off the pads of Laskoska. Back up to the point. Shot through the crease, wide of the net. .44 seconds left. Pass up high in the slot. Shot up and over the net. send a player. Has a player sent to the locker room. After conversations. And conversations here with the captains and the ref as they try to get a handle on the game in some capacity. Had a player removed, and they're still playing 5-on-4. Olu brings it through the zone, walks it up, and goal. Back to 5-on-5. Not sure what's going on. Now they're telling Jennings he can leave the box. As with 139, Tritton out. Not quite sure. But comes out to Posner at the blue line. Johnson chips it through, picked up by Olu at the blue line. Picked up the neutral zone by Johnson. Shot off the blocker, goes wide, far corner. Tritton closes that one off. Olu clears, Luong sends it back the other way, scooped up. And chipped into Gorman's D zone. Pauser there for Gorman, sends it around the boards. Olu walks it up. And looks like Posner and Dan's partner will both be heading to the box. We're going to stay 5-5. A little scuffle at the end. And they're just going to run down the clock. And that'll be it. As a reminder, there will be a game tonight, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. Gorman will take on Pacific Ridge. And that game later tonight will wrap up the weekend. Appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you in a few hours.